The doors of Golden Crust Diner swung open every morning at exactly 7, and every morning for the past 2 years, it was Ifeoma Balogan who unlocked them, swept the floors, and had the first batch of burgers sizzling before the manager even arrived. She never imagined that one ordinary Tuesday afternoon, a single act of kindness toward a ragged stranger sitting outside her restaurant would end with her being marched out in front of customers, stripped of the only job keeping her family from collapse. She had no idea that the man she fed with her own hands, the man everyone dismissed as a filthy beggar, was about to change everything she thought she knew about fairness, cruelty, and second chances. If this story moves something in you, if you believe that kindness should never be punished, and that good hearts deserve good endings, hit that like button, drop a comment, share this with someone who needs a little hope today, and subscribe to Whispering Tales Stories, because we are just getting started. Ifeoma was 26 years old, raising her younger brother, Chidera, alone after their parents passed within a year of each other. She worked the counter at Golden Crust, a mid-sized diner on a busy street in Lagos, known for its stacked burgers and its short-tempered manager, a man named Obiora Ekwueme, who treated every employee like a replaceable inconvenience. Ifeoma swallowed his insults daily because the paycheck, however small, paid for Chidera's school fees and kept a roof over their heads. She had learned to smile through humiliation, to nod through unfair schedules to survive. That Tuesday started like any other. The sun hung high and merciless over the city, baking the pavement outside the diner where an old man sat slumped against the wall, his clothes torn and gray with dust, his hands trembling, as he held out a cracked plastic cup that had not seen a coin in hours. Customers stepped around him without a glance, some wrinkling their noses, some muttering for him to move along. Ifeoma had noticed him for 3 days straight. Always in the same spot, always ignored, always fading a little more into the concrete like he no longer expected anyone to see him. On her break, she wrapped a burger in napkins, the same kind she served to paying customers, added a bottle of water, and walked outside into the punishing heat. She knelt beside the old man, ignoring the stares from passers-by, and pressed the food gently into his hands. She told him to eat slowly, that the water was cold, that he should stay in the shade. His eyes cloudy and tired, filled with something she couldn't quite name. Gratitude, perhaps, or disbelief that a stranger would kneel in the dirt for him. He asked her name in a voice roughened by thirst and silence. She told him, smiled, and returned to work without a second thought, certain the moment would be forgotten by lunch. It was not forgotten. Obiora had watched the entire exchange through the window, his face twisting with fury. When Ifeoma stepped back behind the counter, he was already waiting, arms crossed, voice sharp enough to cut through the clatter of the kitchen. He accused her of giving away company property, of turning his diner into a charity for street beggars, of embarrassing the business in front of customers. Ifeoma tried to explain that it was one burger, that she would pay for it herself, that the man was hungry and no one else would help him. Obiora did not want explanations. He wanted control, and in front of the entire lunch crowd, he stripped off her apron himself and told her she was finished, that Golden Crust had no room for foolish charity, that she should go feed beggars somewhere else with somebody else's money. The humiliation burned worse than the injustice. Ifeoma stood frozen as murmurs rippled through the customers, some sympathetic, most simply curious in the way people are curious about someone else's downfall. She untied the apron with shaking hands, gathered her small bag from the back room, and walked out into the punishing afternoon sun without a single word of protest, because she had learned long ago that arguing with power rarely changed anything. She walked home slowly that day, replaying the moment over and over, wondering how she would explain to Chidera that the job was gone, that the fees for next term were now impossible, that kindness had cost her everything. 3 days passed in a haze of worry and quiet panic. Ifeoma sent applications to every restaurant within walking distance. But Obiora's version of events had already spread through the industry gossip that traveled faster than truth. She was labeled reckless, difficult, someone who could not follow simple rules. Doors closed one after another. She sat on the edge of her bed each night, staring at Chidera's school uniform hanging on the wall, wondering how many more weeks they had before the landlord's patience ran out too. On the 4th day, a black car pulled up outside her apartment building, sleek and out of place among the dusty compound, walls and clotheslines strung between windows. Neighbors peered out from behind curtains as a driver stepped out and opened the rear door. Ifeoma's stomach tightened with fear, certain some new trouble had found her. But the man who stepped out was not a stranger sent to harass her. It was the old beggar from outside Golden Crust, except now his torn clothes were gone, replaced by a tailored suit that fit him like armor, his face clean, his posture straight and commanding. He introduced himself properly this time. His name was Chibueze Adaeze, and he was the founder and owner of the entire Golden Crust restaurant chain. 12 locations across the city, built from nothing over 30 years of relentless work. He explained, voice steady but heavy with emotion, that he made it a habit twice a year to dress as a homeless man and sit outside his own restaurants unannounced, watching how his staff treated the most vulnerable people who passed through their doors, because he believed a business built on cruelty toward the powerless was a business rotten at its core. He had done this for years, watching countless employees look away, some even chasing him off with harsh words. Ifeoma was the first person in longer than he cared to admit who had knelt beside him without hesitation, who had given without expecting anything in return, who had treated a nobody like a somebody. He told her that when he returned to the office and reviewed the security footage from that day, he saw everything, her kindness and Obiora's cruelty stripping her of her job in front of a crowd for the crime of compassion. His hands had trembled with anger watching it, not at her, but at what his own establishment had become under careless management. Ifeoma listened in stunned silence, unable to reconcile the frail old man from the pavement with the powerful figure standing before her now, until tears blurred her vision entirely, and she could no longer hold back the emotion crashing over her. Chibueze did not offer her the same job back. He offered her something far greater. He asked her to become the general manager overseeing all 12 Golden Crust locations, with a salary that would erase every worry she had carried since her parents died, along with a personal fund set aside for Chidera's education through university. He told her that a company needed leaders who understood that every person, no matter how low they appeared to have fallen, deserved dignity, and that he had searched a long time to find someone who proved that through action rather than words. Obiora, he added quietly, no longer worked for Golden Crust as of that morning, his cruelty finally costing him the position he had abused for years. Ifeoma could barely speak. She thought of the burger she almost hadn't given, the moment she almost walked past like everyone else, and how close she had come to missing the very thing that would save her family. She thought of every time she had swallowed her pride just to survive, and how one small act of kindness, offered without calculation or hope of reward, had rewritten the entire direction of her life. Before she accepted anything, she asked Chibueze one question, whether he would have told her the truth if she had not been kind that day. He answered honestly that he would have simply walked away, unnoticed, and she would never have known. How close she came to a moment that could have changed everything. If this story touched your heart even a little, if it reminded you that kindness is never wasted no matter how small the gesture feels, please take a moment to like this video and share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Before we close this chapter, drop the word kindness in the comments below if you believe good hearts eventually find their reward, and let us know which part moved you the most. Ifeoma returned to Golden Crust weeks later, not through the staff entrance but through the front doors as the newly appointed general manager, greeted by employees who once looked past her without a second glance. She never forgot where she came from, and one of her first actions was creating a permanent program where every Golden Crust location kept extra meals set aside, each day for anyone in need. No questions asked, no judgment given. She often said that the burger she gave away that Tuesday was the cheapest thing she ever paid for, and the richest thing she ever earned. Because sometimes the smallest kindness we offer a stranger becomes the very bridge that carries us into the life we never knew we were destined for.